Good day everyone! Heto na naman ako sa inyong mga computer screens at ating pag-uusapan ang mga natitirang bagay na dapat nating pag-usapan before tayo mag-i-exam. Sa video na ito ay pagpapatuloy natin ang ating pagtalakay sa chapter 3. Kaya heto na, atin nang simulan ang inuman. Usapan. In the last meeting that we had, we talked about the human person as an embodied spirit. This means that we are composed of a body at the same time of spirit, or should I say a soul. On that lesson, we have learned and give emphasis on the body as a source of limitation, at the same time a source of possibilities. On the other side of the coin, we will give emphasis today on the soul, specifically on how different philosophers from different period view it. Let's start with Plato, one of the greatest thinkers in the ancient times. He thought that the human soul has a tripartite nature. Ano nga ba ang mga ito? The immortal rational part, which existed before it became part of the body and remains even after that. The second one is the courageous part, and the third part is the appetite part. These two serves as the mortal part of the soul and diminishes also after death. In his book, The Republic, Plato emphasizes that the soul gives life to the body. This makes the soul uses only the body, and after that, the soul goes back to the world of ideas, a journey in which it tries to free itself from its imprisonment in the body. Next one is Saint Augustine, ang representative ng medieval period. One of his known sayings is, "My heart is restless until it rests on you, God." Ayon sa kanya, ang kaluluwa ang nagbibigay buhay sa ating katawang lupa. And this body and soul is one. They are not different entities, but only one. According to Saint Augustine, the soul is the means to know about God, and the body is responsible for our restlessness that we experience. Pagdating naman sa modern period, andito na naman si paring René Descartes. Talaga namang epal din minsan tong si paring Descartes, pero di bali na. Kasi ang laki naman talaga ng naiambag niya sa larangan ng filosofiya, lalo na ang kanyang pananaw patungkol sa tao. We have learned last time that the only thing we cannot doubt is the process of thinking, and this leads us to conclude that we are certain of the existence of the thinking being. But this notion of Descartes has a great negative impact in our lives, especially on the supremacy of the mind over the body. Take for example our view of manual labor. We see that those people who do manual labor are paid lesser than those people who use their minds in their work. The blue-collar versus the white-collar jobs. White-collar jobs were paid higher than the blue-collar jobs. Another example is the view against women. The functions of the body such as emotions, appetite, and reproduction have been associated with the function of the women, whereas the functions of the mind, rational, calculation, critical thinking, and analysis is for the functions of men. Because of this mindset, women's place in society takes on a less important, secondary position in relation to men. We continue to the contemporary period, which is represented by these two philosophers. The first one is Gabriel Marcel, a phenomenologist who suggests that the body is having and being. The body as having is related to the body as an object, where we see the body as a mere object or like a thing we own, and then we do the things we want to do with it. Our bodies are just among other bodies also. Like when we ride a jeepney, the driver counts our body as one, or like in votation of decisions in the class, we divide the class and the greater number of votes will be followed. But on the other hand, the body as being relates also the body as a subject. It is our being. I am my body. We cannot simply lose the body that we have now. If we lose our bodies, we cannot go on to say that we are still ourselves. To lose our bodies literally is to die. In this way, we begin to understand that our bodies are not just objects we can simply lose. Again, it is our being. I am my body. The second representative of the contemporary period is Maurice Merleau-Ponty. Same as Marcel, he is a phenomenologist also, who clearly and simply explains the unity of mind and the body. According to him, all our experiences are all embodied experience, simply because we all experience and felt about the world through our bodies. Therefore, he emphasizes the primacy of the body as a being who is related to the world. Pero wait lang, kung mayroong pananaw ang Western minds tungkol sa katawan ng tao, ay meron din naman ang mga Eastern minds. Balikan natin ulit si Lao Tzu. Sa kanyang sinabi na the harmony of the world is brought by the concept of yin and yang, wherein the opposites are in a harmonious balance with each other. Kaya sa madaling salita, sa Oriental philosophy, they emphasize the balance, unity, and harmony between the body and the mind. May iba't ibang pananaw ang mga pilosopo kung ano ang tingin nila sa katawan ng tao. Pero ang importante sa lahat ay ang ating sariling pananaw sa ating sariling katawan. At ang pagpapahalaga natin ay kasama na rin nito. Dahil kung ano man ang mangyari sa ating katawan na resulta ng ating mga kapabayaan, wala tayong ibang masisisi kundi ang ating sarili. At huwag nating kalimutang dahil sa katawan natin, tayo ay nandito sa mundo at patuloy na naghahanap ng kahulugan ng buhay gamit ang ating katawan.